Hello there you guys, welcome to another of my videos. So, Manchester United and Ole Gunnar Solsjaer must solve the Paul Pogba issue. Now, Paul Pogba started on the bench against Everton, but he did come on in the game. Now, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first choice midfield trio is Fred, McTominay and Bruno Fernandes. Obviously, Donny van de Beek, he isn't getting a lot of chances and he's not yet made his full Premier League debut for the football club. Now, Paul Pogba has had a long-running transfer saga. I'm expecting him to leave Manchester United next year. Quite a few weeks ago now, we triggered that 12-month extension on his contract. So Paul Pogba's under contract with the football club until June 2022. And this was also confirmed by Fabrizio Romano. I think Paul Pogba's disappointed that he got his contract extended. Now, it does say that Real Madrid are considering making a move for him next summer, and they are considering delaying their move for Eduardo Camavinga. Now, quite a few weeks ago, Paul Pogba made an admission saying that one day his dream is to join Real Madrid. Don't forget, last year he was talking a lot about Real Madrid and Zinedine Zidane, and he basically said that he wanted to leave Manchester United because he's seeking for a new challenge. Now, there's obviously been a lot of narratives saying that, he could go back to Juventus. Pogba did endure 4 good years with Juventus. The vast majority of his performances at Man United, though, have been totally comparison to his ones at Juventus. Barcelona have been in for him before, and so too have PSG. Now, obviously, Paul Pogba is into his 5th season at Manchester United since he rejoined from Juventus back in 2016. He has made over 100 appearances for the football club in all competitions. He's won 3 trophies at the club, and that was the Europa League, the League Cup and the Community Shield. Pogba endured a very, very difficult time under the Jose Mourinho era, but so too did all our top players. But some United fans reckon that Paul Pogba was actually the one that got Jose Mourinho the sack. And we had Pogba when he was a lot younger under the Sir Alex Ferguson era, but we had to let him go due to limited appearances. As it stands at the moment, he is our most expensive signing because we paid £89 million for him. And there has not been any talks whatsoever regarding a long-term contract, because we said earlier on this season that we will not break our wage structure to get him a new long-term contract, so we won't pay him what we paid Alexis Sanchez. Pogba's one of the highest paid players as it stands at the moment. He's on around 298 grand a week. But there was reports coming out during the summer saying that, Paul Pogba wanted to stay and he will hold talks over a new long-term contract. That was actually stemming from his agent, Mini Raiola. Man United were very critical of Mini Raiola at the turn of the year because he publicly criticised Solsjaer and Manchester United. I think it said a few weeks before the end of last season that Pogba was close to signing a 5-year contract with the football club. Obviously, he cost us the game against Arsenal last week because he was the one that gave the penalty away because he brought, Hector Bellerin down. And obviously Paul Pogba had come out and apologised. he sustained quite a few injuries as well at Manchester United. Obviously, last season he was out with that ankle injury, so didn't really have a perception on him. You know what I mean? But yeah, that is the breaking news on Paul Pogba. Now, should Manchester United stick with Ole Gunnar Solsjaer, or should we appoint Mauricio Pochettinho in? Now, obviously, Mauricio Pochettinho is the favourite to take over at Manchester United because the Manchester Evening News recently said that we've approached Mauricio Pochettino over becoming the club's new manager. There's got to be trustworthy in it, because obviously it's stemming from the Manchester Evening News and Samuel Lockhurst's obviously close to Man United. There's been a few clubs that have been in for Pochettino, though. Obviously Manchester City have been in for him. Real Madrid have been in for him. Barcelona have been in for him. It said the other week that Zenit St. Petersburg were in talks. He also says that he's considering taking the job at PSG. Newcastle have also been in for him before. Pochettino, don't forget, was on Monday Night Football, and he said, you know, football's his passion. He misses football, and he wants a return to management right now. But he doesn't know where his next club's gonna be. Now, obviously, Mauricio Pochettino was linked with the managerial role at Man United after the sacking of Jose Mourinho. Now, I think Mauricio Pochettino is a better manager than Solskjaer, like I've said on my recent videos a lot, because Pochettino is well proven in the Premier League, he's got a good philosophy, he's dealt with top players, and he did endure 5.5 years with Tottenham. Analysing the vast majority of his tenure at Tottenham were competing in the top 4. He guided Tottenham to their first ever Champions League final last year. And he guided them to the League Cup final, and he guided them to 2 FA Cup semi-finals. And he spent over £200 million when he was Tottenham manager. You know, before he was at Tottenham, he was at Southampton, endured a very short tenure with Southampton, but he still guided Southampton to their highest ever finish. And before he was at Southampton, he was at Espanyol. So far, he's managed 3 clubs in his managerial career. Pochettino has been managerless now for like a year. My element of concern about him, though, is that he's not won anything in terms of silverware. And if Pochettino was to be appointed in as Manchester United manager, you know, what players would he bring in? What players would he offload? You know, more than likely he'd ask for the director of football. Man United are in search for a director of football now because it's one of the structural changes that we need at the football club. Would he get the backing from the board? Because quite frankly, our board have not backed any of the managers that we've had so far since the Sir Alex Ferguson era. And would Pochettino be able to take our current squad forward? Probably not. But, you know, there's some Manchester United fans that think sacking Solskjaer wouldn't really solve much, would it? We've obviously been looking at Julian Nagelsmann as well as an alternative to Pochettino, and we've also been looking at Massimiliano Allegri. He's another alternative we've been looking at. But yeah, I think stick with Solskjaer for now. Obviously, it's the international break, and let's see how it goes after the international break. Now, we recently had a very, very good win against Everton, you know, beating them by 3-1. Obviously, Bruno Fernandes has scored 2 goals, also got an assist, and Edison Cavani got his name on the score sheet. That's his first goal for Manchester United and his first goal in English football. We saw Luke Shaw and Marcus Rashford get assists in the game. But it was a pretty good performance by Man United. I'm glad we won that game, because if we'd have failed to beat Everton, then Solsjaer probably would have been sacked as Manchester United manager, because he was under a lot of pressure going into that game, wasn't he, Ole Solsjaer? Because prior to the Everton game, we was winless in his last 3, and we'd lost our last 2. Because we lost to Istanbul Başakşehir in the Champions League group stage. That was an embarrassment, because, it's Istanbul's first ever time in the Champions League, and they were formed in 1990. And obviously we lost to Arsenal last week at Old Trafford in the Premier League for the first time since 2006. So that's around 14 years ago now. I think if we are to lose another game or 2, then Ollie will be sacked as Manchester United manager. We have got West Brom after the international break. We should be winning that game against West Brom. West Brom are obviously sitting 18th in the Premier League, so they are in the relegation zone. West Brom have recently lost to Tottenham by 1-0. I'm expecting them to go back down. If we do beat West Brom after the international break, that'll be 2 wins in a row in the Premier League, and it will be our first win at Old Trafford. We've not yet won at Old Trafford in the Premier League this season, and it's our worst start at Old Trafford for around 50 years. The last time we played West Brom at Old Trafford, we lost to them by 1-0, and that was a couple of years ago. West Brom's current manager is Slaven Bilic. I know a few of the players they've obviously got Charlie Austin. They've got Grada Dingana. They've got Callum Robinson. They've got Matthias Pereira. They've got that Ivanovic. Samfield. They've got Kanu. They've obviously got Dara O'Shea. They've got Carlin Grant. That's another player they've got. So they've got a few good players in their team of West Brom. Obviously after West Brom, it is Istanbul Başakşehir in the Champions League group stage. Should be beating them in the home game. And then I think after that, it is Southampton. So we should be winning our next 3 games. If we do win our next 3 or 4 games, I think a lot of pressure will ease off Ole Gunnar Solsjaer, won't it? But I think Solskjaer seems to be a big game manager, because he showed a lot of tactical flexibility in a lot of the big games. Obviously, Ole's beaten Thomas Tuchel. He's beaten PSG twice as Man United manager. He's beaten Julian Nagelsmann. Last season beaten Pep Guardiola 3 times. He's beaten Frank Lampard 3 times as Manchester United manager. And he's beaten Jose Mourinho once. So it just shows you, doesn't it? But I think there's a lot of games as well at Manchester United where he's been very tactically naive. Definitely, some of his team selections are definitely questionable, like against Everton, why didn't he start Donny van der Beek? Tellez obviously wasn't involved for some reason. Mason Greenwood was obviously out with illness. Juan Mata probably shouldn't have started against Everton either. You know what I mean? But yeah. But like I've said to you before, I want Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's managerial tenure to work out at the football club. I really, really do. Because I love Ole Gunnar Solskjaer a lot. He's a club legend. Personally speaking, I don't think he's good enough to succeed as a manager, because Ole hasn't got a proven pedigree behind him. Obviously, before he was at Manchester United, he was at Mould. He won a few Norwegian titles at Mold, and before he was at Mold, he was at Cardiff, and his record at Cardiff was absolutely disastrous. The main explanation he got sacked from Cardiff is because he ended up getting Cardiff relegated. But Man United is the third club in his managerial career. Reflecting on how long he's been at the club, you can say he's gained some managerial experience and he's learnt quite a bit. You know, he's been at the football club now, Ole Solsjaer, for almost 2 years. We appointed him in December 2018 and he's been permanent Man United manager since March 2019. And he's got a contract with the football club until 2022. He's managed 102 games for Man United in all competitions, and I think Ollie's won around 57 games in all competitions since he got appointed in. You know. But Ole is into his second full season as Manchester United manager. And I said to you, didn't I, what would represent a good season for Man United, and that would be to win a trophy and finish in the top 4, wouldn't it? Now, I think the club have made a lot of mistakes in the last 7 years or so, and that's one of the main explanations why we've been so inconsistent, isn't it? I think we definitely made a mistake by giving Ollie the job permanently, because I think he's in a position he shouldn't be in, but we give him the job permanently, reflecting on that 3-month period when he was the interim manager, because I think he won like 14 games out of 19 in all competitions, didn't he? But we've been demanding the board out for the last 7 years or so. They are one of the problems at the football club. You know, our recruitment policy has been poor for several years. You know, Woodward's been at the club since 2012 and the Glazers have been at the football club since 2005. And the Glazers have taken quite a bit of money out of the club. Now, Solsjaer revealed a few times during the summer transfer window that he was very, very infuriated with the board because obviously, you know, he wasn't getting it backed enough. And obviously, we are making plans for next year. Obviously, next year we'll be looking to make more signings. I think Man United need at least 4 signings to mount any title challenge up. Next year we'll be also looking to offload more players because there's obviously still deadwood in the squad. Obviously we'll be looking to offload Jesse Lingard, Marcus Rojo, Phil Jones, Sergio Romero. Sergio Romero's already said a few times that he wants his contract terminated. Also to Brandon Williams, he could be loaned out next year because he's now our third choice left back following the arrival of Tellez. Matic, he could be sold next year because he's actually lost his place in the team as Matic. Juan Mata, he could also be sold next year. Daniel James could also be loaned out. I don't think he's that good now for Man United, and I thought last season Ollie definitely overplayed him. Leeds United are the ones that have been interested in Daniel James, and like I said, I'm expecting Paul Pogba to leave next year. It's likely he'll leave next summer, but he could still possibly leave in the January transfer window. Ollie is inheriting a squad that is worth £700 million. This is disregarding who he's brought in. Because let's put into the equation, Ollie is inheriting a lot of players here from the Jose Mourinho era. There's still a few players here from the Van Gaal era. Still one player here from the Moyes era. And there's only like 2 players here now from the Sir Alex Ferguson era. Isn't there? You know, Ollie has spent over £200 million since he became Manchester United manager. and he's endured 4 transfer windows at the club. In the summer of 2019, he brought Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka and Harry Maguire in. In January, he brought Bruno Fernandes in, and he brought Odin Igalo in on loan. And in the summer transfer window of this year, he brought Donny van der Beek in, he brought Edison Cavani in, he brought Alex Telles in, he brought Facundo Pellistri in. Ollie's already confirmed his plans for Facundo Pellistri. He said he needs to spend more time in the reserves before he gets his Manchester United debut. Facundo Pellistri made his debut for the under-23s last month when we played Everton. And we got Amad Traore, but Amad Traore won't be joining the football club until January. You know what I mean? So yeah, he's made some good signings, but he obviously hasn't got all the players that I wanted to recommend in. Has he? And I've said to you, Solsjaer has been in the exact same position as what Jose Mourinho was in, because in the summer of 2018, Jose Mourinho made it clear to our board that he wanted to recommend the centre-half in. He obviously never got that centre-half in, did he, Jose Mourinho? And that's one of the main explanations why it didn't work out for him at the club. There's other reasons as well, Mourinho didn't get along with the board, he didn't get along with the top players, and I think we appointed him in too late, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. We should have really appointed him in when Sir Alex Ferguson left. I've also seen a lot of players leave the football club since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer got recommended in as well. So he's got rid of some of the deadwood, hasn't he? I also like the way that Ole has promoted the youth and that. He did well in his first full season at Manchester United, didn't he, Ole? Because he guided us to 3 semi-finals. He also got us qualification for the Champions League, and he also got us 3rd place, and that's the second highest we've finished since the Sir Alex Ferguson era. But yeah, nothing's changed for Man United in the last 7 years or so. Obviously we've been playing catch up. We've had obviously different managers with different philosophies. We've had Moyes, Van Gaal and Mourinho. Now obviously we've got Solskjaer. We spent close to the £1 billion range on players in the last 7 years or so, and we've recruited over 30-odd players in since the Sir Alex Ferguson era, and the vast majority of them players we've brought in haven't been the right calibre players for Man United. I think maybe there's a few players we've got rid of who we shouldn't have got rid of. I think we've spent big on players as well in recent years. Paid like 89 million for Pogba, 80 million for Harry Maguire, 52 million for Fred, 40 million for Matic, 50 million for Bissaka. Back in 2017 we paid 75 million for Romelu Lukaku. Not only that, we've also got players on big contracts at the football club. So there you go. Like I said, we've won 4 trophies since Ferguson left, and that was the FA Cup under Van Gaal and the Europa League in the League Cup under Jose Mourinho, and also the Community Shield. That came in Mourinho's first season at Manchester United, didn't it? Now, there's quite a few players at Man United that have impressed me recently. Now, Rashford's impressed me recently. He did very, very well against Everton, put a good performance out. Got an assist, but I think he also should have scored, Marcus Rashford. Rashford wasn't that good, though, against Istanbul Besiktas, and he wasn't good against Arsenal, was he, Marcus Rashford? But prior to that, I think he's done well in most of his games this season. Don't forget, Rashford scored a hat-trick in our 5-0 win against RB Leipzig. He became the second Manchester United player as a substitute to score a hat-trick, and he also scored the late winner in Paris. Marcus Rashford has been a United player since the age of 7, and he's been in our senior squad since 2016. I think he's better out wide, Rashford. I don't think he does that good, when he's playing up top. So I think we'd keep him out wide. Now, Anthony Martial, he impressed me last season, and he was good in his debut season under Louis van Gaal, but he hasn't been that good this season. He played against Everton, didn't he? He started, and that was his first start in the Premier League for like a month, because Martial recently served a 3-match suspension. You know, Martial shouldn't have been sent off against Tottenham, though. Martial's enjoyed a good 5 years or so at the football club, hasn't he? Now, Bruno Fernandes has impressed me recently. To be honest with you, he's impressed me in the vast majority of his games at Man United because he's been consistent. There has been a few games where he has looked off the pace, like I've mentioned. He was very, very poor against Istanbul Basaksehir. You know, that's his worst performance in a Manchester United shirt. He was dispossessed 34 times against Basaksehir, wasn't he, Bruno Fernandes? You know, Bruno Fernandes has endured around 9 months at the football club. Obviously, won Premier League Player of the Month a couple of times. Won some Matt Busby Player of the Year award. We got Bruno Fernandes for around 55 million euros. That equates to around 47 million in pounds sterling. By the way, Solsjaer said he was frustrated with Bruno Fernandes in the 3-1 win against Everton. I think he's been frustrated with his positioning, but he was obviously very, very impressed with his performance. Bruno Fernandes was talking about Paul Pogba not so long ago, saying, you know, that he can form an effective partnership with him, and he's got a good relationship with Paul Pogba on and off the pitch, and he said to speak to each other Italian, yeah, most of the time. Bruno Fernandes obviously hasn't been happy with Ole recently, but he's definitely the best player we've got under Ole. And he's one of the best players that we've brought in since the Sir Alex Ferguson era. Now, Fred, he's really, really impressed me recently. Fred had a very, very good game against Everton yesterday. I like the way he dictated the play, kept the ball well. Very mobile as well. He was poor against Arsenal, was Fred. But in a lot of his games recently, he's put out a good performance, hasn't he? So yeah, he's really, really impressed me. David De Gea, he's rejuvenated himself recently. Because he's made some very, very good saves in that. Used to be the best goalkeeper in the world, David De Gea, a couple of years ago, I'd say. You know, David De Gea's been long-serving at Man United. This is now his 10th season at the football club. And I said he will remain our number 1 this season. David De Gea has made over 400 appearances for Man United in all competitions. Over 300 other appearances have come in the Premier League, haven't there? But Dean Henderson, he should be our number 1 at some point. It could be next season, couldn't it? You know, will we sell David De Gea next summer? If we did, we'd probably get from between 50 to 60 million pounds for him. But when he was the best in the world, he was probably worth around 100 million pounds with David De Gea. I've been very, very impressed with Harry Maguire recently. He's really rejuvenated himself. He had a very, very good game against Everton, didn't he? I like the way he threaded them long balls through. He was also very effective in the air, and he made some vital interceptions. Because Harry Maguire did have early season troubles, didn't he? Because he got sent off in England's 1-0 defeat to Denmark. He had a few knocks, and he had that incident in Greece the other month. But it's not affected him, has it really? Harry Maguire's the most expensive centre-half in the world at the moment, because we got him in a deal worth £80 million, and obviously he is our captain. Luke Shaw's impressed me recently as well. You know, he's got 2 assists now in the space of a week. You know, Luke Shaw's enjoyed a good 6 years or so at the football club. There's some players at Manchester United that still need to step up to the plate. You know, Martial's got to step up to the plate because he hasn't been good recently. There's a lot of United fans saying that Martial needs to be dropped and we need to play Edison Cavani ahead of him. Edinson Cavani's not yet made his full debut. I think Edinson Cavani's made around 5 substitute appearances so far. I also believe Lindelof needs to step up to the plate. He's had a few good games this season, but he's nowhere near on Harry Maguire's level. Pogba's got to step up to the plate because he's also been very, very poor. Hasn't been getting a lot of chances though recently, has he? I don't think Matic is that good. Tominway, he also needs to step up to the plate as well. I think Fred's far better than Tominway, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. So there you go. And Donny van der Beek, he's really impressed me in the games he's played in, but he's not really played, has he, Donny van der Beek? So he needs to get more chances because, you know, we paid £40 million for Donny van der Beek. Mason Greenwood, I think he's another player that's got to step up to the plate in the league. He hasn't been great this season. He was good against RB Leipzig and that, but we had a few issues with Greenwood anyway, didn't we, at the start of the season, because he was getting withdrawn from the England squad a few times, but in recent weeks, Ole has defended Mason Greenwood, hasn't he? So there you go. Dean Henderson, he's impressed me as well in, you know, the games he's played in. He's played around, is it 3 games, something like that this season. Recently made his Champions League debut. So anyway, guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.